After getting a Grammy with him, Fivio Foreign just let Nas down.
I grew up with niggas like Sosa, Gino, and I'm not saying that the man is wacky. He's not a legend. He's been out for years. Look, I got a song with the nigga, and I got a song on the album. And the album got a Grammy, but I can't sit there and say a Nas bar to you or a song. I like One Mic, or like a song that's like.
But I can.
It's just not me.
So, but I understand. So that's what I want the people to know. Like, but I can, cause Nas was my era.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. Gang, listen. I always tell you all the time. Anytime you see one of these events, these circumstances where someone says something disrespectful or borderline just out of pocket about an elder statesman, or even vice versa for that matter, it is always something deeper to be learned from it. There is much more going on at play than just Fivio Foreign does not know any Nas lyrics. I don't know if you know what's going on, but Fivio Foreign went on Jim Jones's new podcast. I believe it's on the IFN network, something of that nature. And the podcast is called Artist to Artist. Salute to Jim Jones for doing something positive. And his first guest was Fivio Foreign, who is, I believe he's from Harlem to some degree, in the same vein as Jim Jones, which would make perfect sense to have him on that show and to discuss some of the events that they discussed. Jim Jones said he invented this podcast because he thinks that a lot of the hip-hop media are getting it wrong, and therefore he's going to get it right. He's going to give artists a place to go to tell their story and be heard correctly, okay? And salute, that is a noble cause, gang. But I just want to be honest with you, and I'm going to do this without being disrespectful in any kind of way. You know, that's my mantra. I'm not here to disrespect nobody. I'm just here to keep it a buck. Fivio Foreign went onto this podcast, and like I said, I'm going to get to, it's a lot deeper than it starts off, but he went on the podcast, and for a time, the conversation was good. Jim Jones, however, brought up the Nas situation because it was pertinent to the discussion. And he said, like with the Nas situation, he was trying to make a point that when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. When life throws you a curveball like the Nas situation, as he started to elaborate on, Fivio Foreign then jumped in to state his case. Now, like I always tell you, there's something deeper. These are two guys from the same area of the city. These are two guys who think alike, and these are two guys who feel the same way in regards to the Nas quote-unquote situation. And when Jim Jones went to speak on the Nas situation, apparently not to disrespect Nas or rehash it, because he strayed away from any negative comments about Nas, Fivio Foreign jumped in basically saying, I was just telling dudes the other day that you're better than Nas. So right here, we already started down the wrong path. This was halfway into the conversation, and you're already taking a negative turn in regards to Nas. Nas' name should not have been brought up on your first episode. Either you're going to go all in and crash out, or you're going to avoid it altogether. I don't think you can tiptoe around Nas. I don't think you can. Jim Jones has been on record as saying recently he didn't know Nas had so many fans. This is why he was saying, I'm more influential than Nas. He got real big boned and brolic in regards to Nas, and the culture had to once again settle down and shut down any talk of Nas being irrelevant. Nas is beloved, just like the likes of Tupac and Biggie. Jim Jones didn't know that, but he has learned, and he really went to almost, if he could have put his hand over Fivio Foreign's mouth to stop the conversation from escalating, he would have, but he was like, nah, and he was like, she just gave up because bro wanted to dive in. Now, what you're about to see is a perfect example of good old-fashioned, clean-cut New York hate. It has been prevalent recently in the last couple of years, especially in the last year of this battle. New York has shown the greatest penchant for hate you have ever seen. They are even hating on themselves. And many would say this is why New York struggled to be relevant for so long because New York was so busy. Hey, and salute to my New Yorkers. I go to New York all the time. So this ain't no disrespect to New York, but let's just be honest. A lot of people had said New York had lost their identity, and New York was really, really hating on other cultures in other regions. Let's be honest, New York really wasn't happy when the South was running it. They really weren't happy when the West was running it. And they really weren't happy when Chicago was running it. Let's just be honest. It's not disrespecting New York. It's just a fact. So Fivio Foreign, if you grew up loving Jim Jones, you think Jim Jones is great. You think Dipset is great. You're really not feeling Nas because let's be honest, Nas didn't really do the same type of material. Nas was a little different from what he was doing. He was doing more of a hip hop. He wasn't trying to be really, especially around that time when they was popping, Nas was almost out of the game. He was almost insignificant. Let's just be honest. When Dipset and all of that, the Locks and all of that, Beanie Siegel, all that stuff, Rockefeller, Nas wasn't really in the equation like that. He would come in, come out, come in, come out. He wasn't trying to play the game. Nas had started doing the end album and this, that, and the third. So if you're a young guy growing up in that borough, especially if he's naming Chief Keef as one of his influences, we're gonna get to that. It wasn't no time to talk about no Nas. So what I'm looking at is he's leaning toward his section by saying you're better than Nas. Then he's compounding that by saying I don't know any Nas records. This is one of the things that they say almost as a tongue-in-cheek to be facetious, to try to belittle Nas. Here we go again. He's not relevant. They didn't know him in the streets, this, that, and the third. A lot of people that really got into hip-hop and rap got into it because of some artists that they like, not because of the culture itself. It's because somebody that resonated with them. And around that time, which is I'm assuming he got into rap. This guy's 35 years old, mind you. He's not a young buck. Let's just start there. He's not a young guy. But at some point in time when he got in, it was all like big bandanas with rhinestones on them. You know what I'm saying? It's G-Unit. It's this whole thing where it's flashy and, you know, just straight thuggery and da-da-da. So that's when he got in. Nas wasn't prevalent in that era. Let's just be honest. I'm not making no excuses because I'm going to get to really what it's really about. But Nas wasn't prevalent in that era. So to actually give him some type of foot to stand on when he probably got in, it which still don't make no sense because if he was born in 1990, by 2000, you're 10, right? So yeah, you're getting in there, but you still know what's going on with Nas. Let's just be honest. But end of the day, he got in at a time where hip hop was changing. It was becoming more dominated by very formulaic thuggery images, and it was very at that point in time, New York had a chokehold, and they had a certain way that they did things. They had a certain style, and that's what it was. But at this point in time in the game, you know who Nas is now. It ain't 2003 no more. It ain't 2013. It's 2025. You've done a record with Nas. Your only Grammy is with Nas. So at this point, to get up on a podcast and say, you don't know no Nas bars, Jim Jones is better than Nas, when you jumped on the record with Nas and got a Grammy with Nas, is extremely disrespectful. A lot of these rappers don't know, they don't have no PR training. Not that you need it to be respectful. You don't need training to be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not disrespect Nas because he's really the only guy that put me on a song that I got a Grammy for. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't need to know none of his songs to know don't disrespect him. And you can't say no disrespect and then say, yeah, Jim Jones better than him. I don't know none of his records. I like One Mic. You're going all the way back to One Mic, but you don't know nothing else from One Mic? And then the most disrespectful thing of all is he says, who are your influences? And you say Chief Keef and Chicago drill rap. This is why they say New York don't know its identity, gang. Something went wrong, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Something happened where New York, a rapper, a 35-year-old rapper from New York is claiming his reference, his influences in hip-hop to make him want to rap was Chief Keef, who was 16 years old at the time. And he was 21, 22. But that's who he was looking up to, was Chief Keef from Chicago. Salute to Chief Keef from Chicago and them, and this, that, and the third. But what I'm saying is, that's kind of ass backwards. I'm just going to be honest. If I'm a grown man, I'm looking at some kids, what they're doing, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. It's a little, we don't know. I don't know what's happening in New York, gang. I don't know what's going on, gang. Like, let's just be honest. I'm like, somewhere we messed up. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if it's Ebro and the radio program, and I don't know what happened. But for this to be a thing where his influences are not Jay-Z, they're not Nas, they're not Biggie Smalls, right? Ain't he from Brooklyn or something? So how is it not these guys? And apparently Fivio Foreign's been to, he got family in all the boroughs and this, that, and the third. But how does he not know to say, okay, at some point, I have to be influenced by somebody from New York that really is legendary. I can't tell you somebody that's from a whole nother region that ain't even doing nothing out of that even equates to the level of New York. This is the Mecca of hip hop. I should be naming someone from the Mecca of hip hop. Not a 16-year-old from a whole different state doing a whole different kind of music. I know you're gonna say, Challz, he should like who he like. No, not out of New York City, gang. No, I don't want to hear that. He can like whoever, but don't say that's your influence. Like, we need to, don't do that. You can like Chief Keef and he could have been your influence, this, that, and the third. We don't need you to be saying that, gang. You're from New York. You're from Brooklyn, Jay-Z, Biggie. Why would you say that? It don't make no sense. Second of all, you're coming out disrespecting Nas, who is a legend. This guy is legendary. So some good old-fashioned, like, just showing some love to these people that have put on for the city, that put on for the state that you're from. But this is the thing. These young guys, they don't have the actual background of this stuff. They don't know where this stuff actually really starts in a lot of ways. A lot of ways, hip-hop itself, and especially in New York, especially the radio stations, they started to chase numbers, dollars. They started to chase fame. Even the media there, they started to want to, you had media there rapping, learning. No disrespect to Angie Martinez, but Angie Martinez started rapping. So it's like we're losing sight of what's going on, who does what, and we started to try to change the narrative, and everybody wanted to be the stars. Everybody wanted to be hot. Everybody wanted to be Cruz. Everybody wanted to be the record execs and the moguls. Instead of learning what it took for the people that got there, everybody that got there had a struggle. They had a hard lane to get there. It didn't just pop up in a Maybach. Every single one of them put the work in. But that's not the story they're learning. They're learning they're learning that the guys got rich because they was doing this, that, and the third a certain kind of way. They're not learning to be yourself. They're learning to, like, let me find what's popping right now. Oh, what's popping right now? Oh, Chief Keef? Well, then that's what I want to be. So we're at a point now where these guys have very little knowledge of history. When you're telling me One Mic was cool, that's like a little kid song almost. Let's just be honest. So you're telling me the only time you heard that, we probably heard it in school or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the only thing you remember from Nas' whole catalog? But you're a MC, you're a rapper? This is really egregious, gang, and I'm just going to be honest. I feel like we're in a Twilight Zone bubble where that at some point this bubble's going to pop. This is why I'm telling you it's industry versus culture. At this point in 2025, it is literally industry versus the culture. Right now, we are seeing guys that have very little to no knowledge of hip-hop in the space saying things that don't make really no sense in regards to this culture and this music. But they are given a voice. We prop them up on streams, and they are able to talk about this situation. I feel like what we're seeing, just like when 21 Savage came out and said Nas ain't relevant. This is what it is, and I keep saying this all the time. Nigga mentality is a different thing. Nigga mentality looks at things in a box and tries to figure it out. Instead of looking outside the box for the answer, they try to put it in the box, and that's the answer. So they'll have their own little head of shit in their head that they think how the world works. Just like he said, streamers need rappers. He doesn't know how the world works. So he's looking at it like, yo, the streamers ain't lit till the rappers go on. The streamers been popping for 5-10 years before y'all motherfuckers came around. But at some point, he thinks that the rappers make the streams hot. Meanwhile, he don't know that these agents are paying for these rappers to be on these streams because the streams are on fucking fire. But in his world, the rappers are making the streams hot. Nigga logic. And so what we got to start doing is combating nigga logic where it lives. Dudes need to learn more. A lot of dudes are drunk, high. They're doing a lot of shit other than learning really how to work this game. So instead of praising Nas when the Nas name came up or avoiding it, right? He doesn't understand. Don't disrespect Nas. That should have been the last 2 months should have told everybody, stop disrespecting this man's name because the culture's going to come down on you. Upon your head top, right? No, he didn't learn that. So now it's, I don't know, dude. I don't know his music. I got a record and Grammy. What he said it mad flipping. Like, yo, like it really wasn't nothing. Like, yo, shit, I got a whole box of Grammys. That shit ain't shit. This dude got 1 Grammy, and it's only with one rapper. It's only one artist in the world. It's with Nas. He has absolutely like 1 hit that, like if you call that a hit. Nas got shit. You can go around the world anywhere and somebody knows Nas. They know his music. But these guys still, they live in bubbles, in small worlds, small communities of New York, of pockets where they've taken sides, and some shit they got old fucking beefs with nigga, so they don't want to give him his props. It's just some old shit. You know what I mean? So then they talk amongst each other, and so certain names that really should have more respect on them don't have them. That's why Jim Jones talked crazy about him in the first place. They really don't, their circles, their boxes, they don't respect Nas like the rest of the world. And this guy apparently is from that same box because he went on the same show with him and said the same shit he already said. So now we're at a point where, oh, we're going to just use these old boxes and use this shit for Nas, but we're going to say it into the rest of the world who has they don't look at this shit the same way you do. They don't have that old New York mentality of the old shit from the 90s where they used to have something negative to say about each other until New York fell off the fucking face of the map. A lot of people say, yo, New York only fell off because New York wouldn't work together. That's a fucking fact. The South started working together. The South came out, they blew up because they worked together. New York was not that. I don't know who's gonna try to lie and say it was. New York was not working together. It was a lot of backbiting and a lot of bullshit. And this is a product of that. I'm just gonna be honest. I know New York niggas gonna be in the comments. Yo, what the fuck you mean? If you're search your feelings, Luke. Like if you understand how hip hop moved, at one point, New York was eating itself. It was self-destructing itself. In the industry and the rest of the culture moved on. We started looking for other artists to revere because it was so much back and forth, infighting and this, that, and the third, that the music wasn't even coming no more. It was just so much. He won't work with him. That won't work with that one. It became a cesspool of he can't work with him. It's so much politics. You couldn't even get good records out of there. It's still to this day, they still beefing. But so what I'm saying is, this is the product of that. Nas don't never disrespect no. Nas is one of the guys that once he had that battle with Jay, Nas was out the way. He said, I'm not doing this shit with nobody no more. He didn't need to. And he still remained relevant for 20 years after that. But here we are, bringing that crab in the barrel mentality to the internet. And then, rightfully so, the rest of the world who don't have these preconceived notions from these New York politics that used to float around where everybody's got an issue with that guy from that borough, this, that, and the third, you're not bringing that in here. I mean, he's bringing that in here, and then everybody's like, yo, we don't fucking understand this. This is whack. Nas is the greatest. So we're still with this shit where guys with the nigga logic, they want to sit here and say, Nas ain't this, Nas ain't that, da-da-da. Because that's the logic on that particular block where they're from. When you can't see outside, when you can't see but 2 blocks down the street, it ain't shit left but ain't nothing past the 2 blocks down the street. So the only thing that matters is where you're at. This is why I take a lot of rappers a lot of time to adjust when they really get out to the real world and get a record contract. It take them years to understand, oh shit, it's a lot going on out here. When these local rappers when they actually pop and blow, they need retraining. They need all kind of shit to tell them, don't say this, don't say that, do this, do that, da-da-da, because they're usually doing hood shit. And a lot of them don't make it past the first phase. They have like a phasing period, 2 years. They got a 2-year period to get their shit together. A lot of them don't make it past the 2 years. Either locked up, shot, or they fall off. Because they don't know how to react. They don't know how to talk about bigger subjects and keep things at a certain professional level. They don't understand that. Anybody that understood this game knows, do not disrespect Nas on a media platform. That's going to hurt your career. I don't care how you feel inside. Don't say nothing about this man. They still don't get it. And I don't know. It's like these mics, they're not telling these guys, and I get it because it's going to get you clicks and views, but they're not telling these guys before they start. Let's just be honest. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Before this guy sat down with Jim Jones should have been like, we're not, even though he the one brought it up, he should have been like, we don't want this to taint this interview. Do not talk about Nas. He should have did that. He should have never talked about it. He got a world of shit. And I'm sure he flipped it and bounced it into whatever he felt he going to flip it and bounce it to, but it hurt your legacy. He should have been like, we're not going to talk about Nas, gang. Okay? Just between me and you, we're just going to keep it about me and you. If the Nas subject come up, I'll take the hit. Don't speak on it. He didn't do that. He didn't prepare this guy. This guy ran in face first. Yo, I don't know nothing about Nas. I know one mic, but that's about it. Yo, son, yo, I ain't disrespecting. Like, just like he in the block, like it's just me. Like I'm talking just me and you. Like he in the barbershop. And that's the problem. We don't understand that Nas has a lot more influence than these people understand. We're never ever going to turn our back on Nas. Nas is the greatest lyricist in the history of this rapping shit. Hands down. So all you new niggas that get a nice little hit record, you might get 2 hit records, you might get some features, you might be popping for 2 years, nigga, you're never going to be no fucking Nas. Okay? Just so it's clear here. You're not going to be Nas. Your man ain't going to be Nas. The man after that ain't going to be no new fucking Nas. Because y'all motherfuckers ain't saying shit. That's why. Y'all don't understand this culture. Y'all don't understand hip-hop. You're a rapper. It's 2 different things. You don't understand hip-hop. You're just a rapper. It's deeper than this. So what guys got to start understanding is when you address legendary hip-hop figures, it ain't that many. You just only got to know a few. You ain't got to know every nigga that's ever been called a legend or icon. It's just a few, right? Nas is one of them. Don't say nothing crazy about the man. Don't disrespect him, especially if he put you on his song and looked out for you. This is why this is the real reason, gang. We've been saying for years that the old heads don't embrace these young guys and we don't bring them in. We don't show them the ropes or we don't give them a chance. Y'all been saying that shit for a long ass time. Yo, won't you embrace the youngers? Won't bring them in, da-da-da-da. And look what the fuck they do when you bring them in. Look what they fucking do. They don't know your music. They don't know you. They don't want to respect you. They think they bigger than you. They want to talk crazy about you. This is why. This is the problem. And we need to figure out a way, like, if you're gonna, if we don't know these youngers, their internal fucking how they feel about this game, then we can't work with you. And this is why I say all the time when they talk about bringing young people on drink champs, no, they don't fucking deserve it. They don't respect this shit. And you're gonna say, Challz, he ain't that young. No, he ain't that young, but his mind is. His mind is young. So he's thinking just like all these YNs are thinking. And it's a simple fact. You're thinking that streamers are bigger than Nas. These motherfucking streamers come and go. Yeah, they make a lot of money. They flash in the pan. That shit not gonna be as long. Who gonna be streaming? Which one of these motherfuckers gonna be streaming in 20 fucking years considered a legend? On Nas level. Which one of these streamers gonna be in a pack out Madison Square Garden in 10, 15 years? None of them. So what I'm telling you is, yeah, they gonna make a big bag. They gonna make a lot of money. Half these motherfuckers only known by other stream people. They only known by young fucking kids. They're not legendary. They will not be getting Kennedy Center honors and shit like that. So they're not legendary. So we can't respect it. And that's the problem. These young kids, they only respect whatever makes money right now. This dude was on a record with Nas and he's sitting there talking like he don't even know son. Like, yo, I'm on a record with him. This is the problem. When we reach out to these young kids and they spit in your fucking face, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not talking about this no more, man. Listen, I'm out, man. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They got all kind of flavors. They ship all over the continental U.S. Every Wednesday night we go live, me, TJ, and Fliz on the What Show. Man, listen, this is seriously. We are in a state right now where hip-hop is under attack, but is also fighting back. And we are in one of the biggest fights of our lives. We got to start calling out this fake-ass bullshit. I'm just going to be honest. I'm out. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within, with the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin with the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first, I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin, and then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months' time, the city like that's him. Oh, yeah.